She entered the dimly glowing room, wrapped in a deep crimson satin gown, the very one I had purchased for her during our trip to Florence. It sculpted her figure with deliberate sophistication, the plunging back exposing skin so smooth it seemed carved from ivory. That dress wasn't mere attire. It was a carefully woven snare, designed to capture the attention of every pair of eyes nearby. From my discreet spot across the dining room, I watched in silence, concealed by the very openness of the space. Candlelight flickered against her pearl earrings, the same one she had once declared lost forever. Her laugh floated through the air like the last breath of a dying flame, drifting across the pristine white tablecloth in a belly there hush. She hadn't seen me. Not a trace of recognition crossed her face. But I was there, completely present, taking in her every movement. I tracked the slightest changes in her expression, catalogued each fleeting glance. I missed nothing. Then the waiter approached, weaving smoothly between tables with the grace of someone who'd practiced it for years. In his palm, neatly folded, was the note I'd given him, part of a plan executed with precision. He delivered it without hesitation. She unfolded the slip, reading the 5 words I had agonized over for days. I trust the risotto's sublime. Her face drained of color. Her hand, suddenly unsteady, released the fork, which clanged sharply against her plate. The tremble in her fingers betrayed her, and the smile she had so carefully curated fell apart in an instant. She rose abruptly, knocking over her wine glass. Scarlet liquid spilled across the white linen like a fresh wound. Her dinner companion blinked, startled and bewildered, but she didn't see him anymore. She looked like something cornered and exposed. This was no accident. Every moment had been orchestrated with the precision of a master planner. I had rehearsed it in my mind for months, like a playwright awaiting the rise of the curtain. It all started long ago, within the worn hallways of our university. She was magnetic, eloquent, sharp, strikingly intelligent. Her words could sting or soothe depending on her mood. I, by contrast, was reserved, a focused finance student more committed to loyalty than extravagance. And yet, we found each other. We built a life together, shared bank accounts, whispered dreams exchanged over late-night coffee, a home warmed by mutual goals. Even the rescue dog we adopted became our symbol of chosen simplicity over parenthood, a decision she claimed fully, always assuring me that our life, just as it stood, was complete. She used to call me her grounding force, her place of peace. And I believed her, completely, foolishly. 12 years passed in what felt like a cinematic montage. One house, one dog, familiar routines, recycled promises. Then the fishes began to show, small at first. A missed dinner, a work function that never really happened. The first real crack appeared when she changed the passcode on her phone. To anyone else, it might have meant nothing, but to me, it was the faintest sound of water behind a sealed wall, a quiet signal that something deeper was beginning to erode. I didn't question her. Not aloud. Words deceive, but actions, they speak with brutal honesty. So I acted. I cloned her phone's data, tucked a GPS tracker into the glove box of her car, and routed her laptop through a private server I'd built myself. I let her believe she was free, let her drift in the illusion of secrecy. Within 4 weeks, I had it all. Names, locations, schedules, even the man himself, some junior coworker with more charm than sense, younger than her by a few years, and married, just like she was. They used code names, A and R, as though they were starring in a suspense novel instead of playing out a tired workplace affair. I read through their exchanges, those so-called confessions of love. I saw the image she had sent him, taken right in the home we shared. In our bed. She had no idea I was watching, that I had access to every secret she thought was hidden. But I didn't erupt. I didn't shout. Her betrayal didn't crush me. It sharpened my focus. A quiet separation. That would have been far too kind. I needed an ending she'd never forget, something she would feel in her bones. So I started with our finances. I opened new accounts under my name alone, subtly redirected investments, and kept just enough activity in the joint ones to avoid raising alarm. It was all smoke and mirrors. Then I retained legal counsel, an attorney who was discreet, ruthless, and surgically precise. He dug into the prenup she'd signed without reading too closely. Buried in the fine print was a clause. Infidelity stripped her of nearly every claim. Next, I chose the setting. A restaurant she adored for its grandeur and elegance. She once said the lighting felt like something out of a film. I booked a table with a direct line of sight to the one she'd request. The waiter, an old college friend now managing the place, handled everything with absolute confidentiality. That evening, I wore a simple black suit, no tie. My only accessory was the watch she'd given me on our 5th anniversary. She'd assumed it was lost. I wore it like a keepsake from another life. I didn't order food, just water. I wasn't there to dine. Then they arrived, hand in hand, like reckless teenagers blind to the real world. She walked past me without hesitation, radiant in her illusion, entirely unaware. They laughed easily, touched often. Her words made him close his eyes and smile like a man dreaming. I passed the note to the waiter with a quiet nod. The effect was instant. The blood drained from her face. Her carefully composed expression collapsed. She stood abruptly and hurried to the restroom, visibly shaken. Seconds later, her phone lit up with my message. "Where are you? What's going on? Can we talk?" I offered no reply. Instead, I sent one document, a file packed with every piece of evidence. Screenshots, messages, images, voice recordings. The final page? Signed divorce papers. She returned moments later, barely holding herself together. Her eyes scanned the room, searching. Her lover sat frozen, still trying to flag down the waiter. As I passed by, I let a business card drop beside his plate. Scrawled on the back in my handwriting, "Your wife knows everything." His face went ashen. He snatched up his phone, fumbling with panic. Behind me, she followed into the night, breathless, calling my name with a desperation I'd never heard from her before. I turned to face her. Calm, cold. I looked her in the eye and said, low and steady, "No need for lawyers. You forfeited everything." 3 weeks later, it was over. She signed the papers without resistance. She understood. Any courtroom battle would only drag her through deeper humiliation. She left with little more than her wardrobe and her shame. I kept the house, the money, the silence. As for him, his marriage imploded too. His wife reached out to me, sent flowers. We had dinner, shared a few laughs, not out of happiness, but from the bitter satisfaction of poetic balance. Sometimes, my mind drifts back to her, the way she used to look at me, how real it once seemed. But then I see her again in that ruby dress, glowing for someone else, her hands trembling as she read my note. And I remembered just how quickly it all collapsed. She expected tears, a dramatic confrontation, a man broken in the aftermath. What she forgot was that I observe. I wait. I prepare. And when I move, it's with purpose. She floated with danger for excitement. I responded not with fire, but with silence. With precision. I didn't burn our life down in a blaze. I turned off the lights, locked the door, and left her alone in the dark, where only her choices kept her company. Because betrayal doesn't have to roll. Sometimes, it's just the quiet sound of a lock sliding into place.